I can't actually see you or hear you. So I'm assuming everyone can see that. Julie, if you can just give me a yes to that.
Yes.
Cool. Brilliant. So we're going to talk about a slightly different angle. I realize that we talk a lot about health. I'm going to talk about building an asset and money and the way we're educated to learn about money. So let's see how we get on with this.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. But do you have the guts to fail? If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you got. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. And when you fall throughout life, remember this: fall forward.
Okay, so just a little bit about me. I've been a regulated financial advisor for 30 years this year. I can't believe it's 30 years. And I first saw network marketing back in the 90s, I think it was. And like many of us, I didn't really understand network marketing, but I started to understand it more probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Being a regulated financial advisor, mainly dealing with investments and pensions, is very, very clear across the world, not just in the UK, that the main reason people struggle financially is because they spent years in school, but they've learned nothing about money. And we don't actually teach people really about money. The result is that people learn to work for money, but they never really learn how money can work for them. So I have multiple businesses, including network marketing, and Zinzino is relatively new to me. November of last year, started working with Zinzino. So, my role today is just to kind of give you some stats, some scary information really about financial education in the world that we live in. And as you can see, I won't read everything on the screen. You can read this for yourself, but maybe for some who are multitasking, many people are worried about their financial security. And a lot of them are relying on an inheritance. And this is a recent survey that was done by Money Plus. So we have really got a bit of a financial crisis going on. What you'll see on the screen in a minute is some scary statistics. The average UK pension plan value is under £100,000 at the age of 65. Now, what this means, and you've got some stats on the screen, someone who has a pension, if they have a pension, and a lot of people don't even plan for their retirement and put money aside because maybe they can't afford to do so because they're paying a mortgage, paying rent, paying childcare, running businesses. So just to give you some examples here, this is not financial advice, it's just an example. £75,000 pension pot, that value would give somebody under £6,000 a year, which is under £500 a month. If they were in good health, this is based on a male with just for the rest of their life, under £500 a month for the rest of their life, having saved for all of their life or all their working life in a pension. The UK pension, I know some of you will be watching this that won't be in the UK, but in the UK, the state pension, which is available now between the ages of 66 and shortly is going to change to 68, it's just under £12,000 a year. So that's £230 a week. So this is the situation we're in. This is why we do believe we have a different option. And more people now are looking for new options, a different way to earn money. And in the UK, a lot more people now have more than one income stream. So what I'd like to ask you as you're watching this is to ask yourself this kind of rhetorical question. What amount of money would you need every month to live comfortably without working a job? All right. And I'd ask you just to think about it. And you've probably got a number in your head, or it might come to you later on after the rest of the day. And whatever that number is, times that figure by 200, whatever the number is. And to help you, there's a few numbers on the screen. All right. So if your number was £3,000 a month or £36,000 a year, this is a number that you might require to live comfortably without working, then you would need £600,000 inside an asset. Now, that could be a pension, it could be an investment, it could be property, it could be equities or shares, but that's a big number compared to the number I gave you earlier of the average pension pot value. Now, in the UK, we call it pensions. Across the world, they're different things. But you would need a big asset to produce that £3,000 a month. And the small print says at the bottom, this is based at 6% return. So you've invested £600,000. It's producing a 6% return every single year. Some years it won't do that. Some years it will do more and some years it do less. But based on that perfect scenario of doing 6% a year, that would produce £3,000 a month. And then this number of timesing by 200 works with whichever number you come up with. So you have an asset, £1 million, you have a 6% return every year, you have £5,000 a month coming in. And many, many people never get anywhere near this number. And this is why people are looking at other streams of income, because as we get nearer to retirement, whatever age you decide to retire, whatever retirement means to you, it's costing more to live in retirement. And people are generally in denial about planning that for other reasons, like I've mentioned, because other things are going on. It doesn't give them that chance to do that. So my question really is when we're talking about money and we're talking about money's not the most important thing in the world. It does help you do the things you love doing. Your health, your happiness, these things for me are more the word success. Everyone's, interpretation of success is different, but money helps you do the things that you love to do. In my case, my wife and I love to travel, so traveling requires a bit of money. So my question really is, are we trading time for money or are we building financial security? And how are we doing that? The reality of our take-home pay. So again, based in the UK, and there's a website at the bottom of the screen that you can go to. And just to give you an example, for someone who's on £40,000 a year in the UK is in effect earning less than £17 an hour after tax based on a 40-hour week. Okay. And many, many people trade their time for money. And it doesn't matter really how high the salary is, they still have to continue to trade their time for money. And that's how we're educated, like I said before. So the limitation on our time, whoops, press the wrong button, bear with me 1 minute. We all have exactly the same amount of time each week, 160 hours of our week. And many people are working their business or working a job for 30 to 40 hours a week. Some may be working part-time, but we've got time to commute, we've got family time, but we leave little room to scale our income. So that means our income is capped by the time we can put into it, but also tax. So how do we go about decoupling our time from our income? Now, there is a famous individual by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. Excuse the picture. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's one of the best personal finance books probably in the world. Now, in this book, he talks about active income and passive income. So, as I mentioned before, we're taught to work for money, to exchange our time and our skills for income, for a salary. Maybe you're running a business. So on the left-hand side, you've got active income. An employee has a job. Someone who's self-employed sometimes can give up a job to start their own business and actually get paid less than they were being paid before, but they're running their own business. So they kind of own a job. They're self-employed, but without working their business, whether that be in a clinic, a hairdresser, personal trainer, financial advisor, maybe, you've got to continue to work your business to create that income. Now, a business owner, we're talking maybe a bigger business. Richard Branson doesn't fly the planes and drive the trains. McDonald's doesn't have the best burgers in the world. And I'm talking to people who are in the health and wellness sector. So we don't eat burgers, do we? But McDonald's doesn't have the greatest burgers, but it has a really good system that duplicates. And the same with Richard Branson and many of the world's entrepreneurs, big entrepreneurs have big businesses and they're not in the business all the time. They own a system and the people follow that system. And that business creates a passive style income. There are different ways to produce passive income. It could be investing in property, investing in shares, equities, as I mentioned earlier, or investing in a network marketing style business, a direct selling business that has a system that can be followed by anyone who joins that business. So I look at Zinzino and network marketing as a vehicle to create passive income. The products, the health message is really important and essential, but the actual system allows us to build that passive style income over time. It's not get rich quick, it takes time. And one of the other options of passive income, as I mentioned, is maybe not being involved in a big business and plugging into a system, but is having your money work for you by investing that money to get a return on it. So we need to teach people more about options and income options so they're not always having to exchange their time and their skills for money. So what this means for us is, are we working harder but not really getting ahead? When we're taught to work a job, there's no criticism of the job, but at the end of the day, we start from zero at the beginning of each month. And every month we start from zero and we exchange our time and our skills for a salary in a job. And then we start from zero and then we do it again and we do it again. With network marketing, direct selling, and the model we have, we can start to break that zero so that we're starting each month on more than zero. And we can gradually build that asset for our family and our family's security. So really, are we ready to stop trading time for money? And do we want to have more income, more freedom, location freedom, working a business from anywhere, especially with the technology we have now with things like Zoom and Teams and Google Meets? So where are you now on that quadrant I showed you? Where do you want to be on that quadrant? Do you want to continue to work for money, or do you want to find a way of building an asset? So my role here is really just to provide some awareness, some education on the system we all work in and have been taught to work in. But we're very fortunate to come across a global business opportunity, a scalable business, a business that gives us access to a system that's working. It's already working in over 140 countries. From a product point of view, we know we're one of the leaders in the space. But we also have to recognize we have this direct selling network marketing model that is misunderstood sometimes. But we're fortunate we can start to learn about this and gain the skills to then be enthusiastic and inspirational to others who are following what they think is the only way of building an income. So really, it's all about building your asset, building an asset of passive residual style income or leveraged income. You're leveraging your time. You're not doing all the work yourself. So learning how money can work for you and helping people get a better financial future is something we've all got our hands on. And I personally would much rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own effort. And that's what we've all got our hands on. We've got our hands on a business opportunity that is the future and is a great way to connect with people, relationships, and we've got the benefit of health and as well as health, helping people create a better financial future. So that is me. That's a bit more about me. I'm happy to take any questions. I'm happy to receive any phone calls and help anyone understand who's maybe not sure about the business model. Maybe you love the product, but you're not sure about how to communicate the business model. So that's it from me. I'll stop the share and happy to take any questions if anyone has got any questions.
Hi, John. I think that I struggle to explain it simply without waffling on for ages. Have you got any advice on how I can get the message across clearly?
Well, so just out of interest, what do you do outside of Zinzino? What do you?
I've got a permanent makeup and skincare clinic, so I work with clients and then also I'm building partners as well.
Yeah. I mean, I just think you can go down different. I mean, everyone's got. Some people want more detail.
Mm.
Some people just want to cut to the chase. I think one of the things that I've been talking to Julia about is um, I think we all have to have reasons to start working any business. You obviously care about your traditional business,
Yeah.
and I think you have to find out what people want. So if you people, I think most people now, most smart people are looking for options, I think, and it makes sense to have a secondary form of income. So I think for me, it's starting with a conversation about what somebody wants. This is just the mechanism to allow that to happen. So obviously we know that some people join Zinzino for the product. They don't mind getting involved in the selling of the product, but they maybe not open up the network marketing side. This is just another model, and you don't have to go down the kind of full explanation. It's just what does someone want from their business, from their life? What do they want from it? And if you can show somebody, and I think this is one of the things that we're looking to improve on, is how to show somebody in Zinzino how they can create a certain amount of income within a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
um, with the building of a network. Um, and I think, lots of people in this country are very, very busy. They've got families, they've got traditional businesses, they've got jobs, etc., etc., etc. So I think for me, it's just understanding what someone's looking for first. And
Yeah.
then if they need the detail, then we can go down the detail. But I think we're very lucky. We've got a brilliant company, brilliant products, and the model it uses is network marketing. And we shouldn't be um, quiet about that. We should, be positive about that model because how would you operate your business over 140 countries? Well, we've got that opportunity with Zinzino. It happens to use this model. And when someone throws up, oh, it's a pyramid, what I
Yeah.
used to do is defend that. Okay, now I say, that's really interesting. Tell me what a pyramid is, and then just shut up. Right? And when they answer, I go, "Oh, thank goodness for that," because we're listed on Nasdaq. We're working with some major institutions. Obviously, we know that sport, professional sports, and we've been around for 20 plus years, fully regulated. Blah 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 blah. People don't understand what network marketing is, and so I go back to what is someone looking for, and have they got a solution, and have we got a better option? And all our job is to say, well, you might want to have a look at this.
Yeah.
It may not. I don't know if that answers your question, but we have to kind of it's a relationship business. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I've got one particular person who is interested in coming on as a partner to sell the products in a hair salon, but I mean, I haven't actually had time to catch up with her because she's a very busy lady, which is why she needs this. And she's like she got all involved and she was just about to buy her kit. She was like completely in, and then all of a sudden she was completely out. It's a pyramid and all of this. So I want to just have the right tools to reassure her, really.
Yeah,
I think,
I think there's a video I can share in the group actually with Robert
okay,
Kiyosaki. Actually, Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. I've got an audio. I'll put it in the group, and what I do is I say, look, I know you're super busy. And you stroke the ego a little bit. You're really successful at what you do. You're obviously super busy. And the timing may not be right for you, but I'd love your opinion and feedback on this audio. If I sent you an audio, would you do me a favor and listen to it and let me know your feedback? Not just send it to her.
yeah,
It needs to be treated like gold dust and have the posture that you've got an option, but you can't force it. The timing's everything, I think.
yeah.
And I think pain points, you need to find their pain point,
Mhm.
because particularly for clinics, because this is the market we are operating in, our right here, right now income is good. So we have no real complaints. We don't even know that we are actually the owner of our own prison. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but bringing this across that, okay, you have no time to look at this. And this is exactly why I want to talk to you, because I had the same problem, but now I earn the same income while I sit on the beach or
Mhm.
sit at my son's football match or whatever. There, you might know they have children. You might know they like travel. You might know they have elderly parents which are unwell. So you give them the vehicle to create exactly what they're having. And nobody said this is easy. Nobody said they're going to not. But at the beginning, they have to sacrifice potentially more time to make more time. But it's an investment. It's the same like if you would put money into an ISA for it to grow. Here you have to put money into time, a little bit of time
Mm.
and very minimal money compared to the rest of the world setup of a business
Yeah.
into something to be actually able to really create something massive for the
Yeah.
future, which we would never be able to do because you know yourself, selling a clinic, that sounds all really amazing, but it isn't really an asset because it's your own. The biggest asset of my clinic is me,
Yeah.
my, you know, my skill, my personality. My client base belongs to nobody. They
Yeah.
chose to be my clients. They will most likely move on when I sell the clinic,
Mhm.
if I even can. Yeah. So it's all these things that people don't consider. Do you have a pension plan? Are you aware that your pension plan is only going to pay you £400 a month leading forward? Get a few of these pain points in and then tell them, well, I actually have found a solution that actually aligns with what I'm already doing now, and it can be incorporated seamlessly without much time. I don't have
Yeah.
to have a PhD for this because we are the signposters, not the scientists. So
Yeah.
it's really sort of like reining in on their pain points. And this feel, felt, found. I
Yeah.
understand how you feel. I felt the same way, but now I found this,
Mm.
and now the situation looks completely different, and I can help you achieve the same.
I
Yeah.
think you tell stories. I in 2019 I had a pacemaker fitted. I thought it was just because I was married to a younger woman, but it's nothing to do with that. And I hear stories of people of health. Health situations can devastate families' financial security. And
Mhm.
I was fortunate I built a recurring income through financial services. But, while I was having a pacemaker fitted, I did start to think, well, what would happen if I couldn't continue with my financial services business? And I think every traditional business owner, as I mentioned in that quadrant, that bottom left-hand corner, self-employed business owner, we have a solution to create income that doesn't rely on the individual. Now,
Yeah.
if an individual doesn't want to look at that option, that's fine. So to me, it's stories. I
Yeah.
I listened to his financial advisor the other day, and he was talking about the fact he had some health issues back in 2019. He started looking at other business models, and he come into. And why would a financial advisor be talking to you about Zinzino products? Well, it started for me with my own health, my own gut
Yeah.
health, intolerance to milk, and then it's another story. But I didn't go looking for Zinzino. I found Zinzino. I knew the name. I wanted to find out more for my own health. Then I couldn't help but look at the business, right?
Yeah.
So I knew about network marketing. For me, when you're having conversations with people, it's like, where are you going on holiday? There's something called FORM, FORM,
Yeah.
family, occupation, recreation, and then message. So family, when we're having conversations with people maybe we haven't caught up with, or maybe at the school gate or things like that, you're asking these questions anyway. How's the family? How's everything going with the kids? Occupation, how's the job? How's the business? Recreation, hobbies, um, school football teams, things like that.
Yeah.
Those conversations normally lead to the pain points that Julia has just mentioned when the time is right. The time for you to build your Zinzino business is now, but the time for somebody else to look at this business, maybe not until next year. But by
Yeah.
having conversations with people, and I think sometimes you have to kind of be more interested in somebody. And I think we want to force it sometimes as network marketers. We want to get going, we want to, we're proud of what we're doing, but we're frustrated or fascinated by the fact that people don't see what we see, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, it starts with those three letters, and then, oh, last week when we met at the school gate, you were mentioning about the fact you hate your job, or you mentioned you hadn't got holiday booked. Well, I might have an option. It may be for you, it may not. I'd love to show you what we're doing. Okay. It's really helped my business as a clinic to see a different way of creating different options for me and my family. I'd love to
Yeah.
show you, I'd love to get your feedback. And it goes, the conversations happen. And obviously, the more conversations are happening, the great thing about Zinzino is we've got global reach. So I'm
Yeah.
reaching out globally. I'm not from a clinic background. I'm a financial guy. So I'm looking at it more as a business. I haven't had a fast start. I'm just looking at showing people what we do
Yeah.
in different parts of the world and letting them decide for themselves if they want to jump on board, whether that be as a customer or as a partner.
Yeah. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Also, your why changes
Yeah.
every time, and not a lot of people, this doesn't have to be your plan A or your plan B. This could be your plan C. I didn't plan last June that I
Yeah.
was gonna stop working in my own clinic
Yeah.
in July because, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know what was gonna be around the corner. But if I wouldn't have had at least a half working vehicle that
Yeah.
I could use to build, I would be in a much different situation right now than I
Yeah.
am right now. So it's yeah, my commitment to Zinzino has very much changed
Yes.
at when my situation changed. And that you have to keep that in mind as well. So a no for now might not be a no forever, but I think coming back onto the pain points and the opportunities that particularly people in our industry, because the problem is we are not, we are very well educated in our field, but we are very, very poorly educated in actually real world scenarios of finance, running a business, future assets, and so on. We're living very much in the here and now, and bringing this awareness across of, but what if tomorrow? I mean, I always say my story is December. I hated December. It used to be my busiest time of the year, so it was good financially. But you know what every winter happened? Mummy,
Yeah.
can we go to London, Winter Wonderland, and can we do ice skating? Ha! No. Why not, Mummy? If I fall over and break a finger, I am game over.
Yeah.
You can go ice skating by yourself. And this is just something as simple as that. Couldn't even take my children ice skating ever. And when
Mm.
I went, even I used to be a good ice skater, I was hanging around the rails and wishing that nobody would bump into me so I wouldn't fall over. And when I would fall, I would probably let myself fall on my ass or my face to protect my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a crazy fear.
It is.
Yeah. And this is a fear we don't need to have.
I think the other thing is everyone's got fear of failure. I mean, fear of it not working out. You can look at Zinzino, you can compare yourself with others, you can have a fear that you don't grab the opportunity and make the most of it. You can have a fear that you ask silly questions. There's no silly question. I think it's just like we can all work together. I've got no idea about clinics, so I can learn from people in the clinic world to help me talk to others. I
Yeah.
I've not got all the answers, but I'm pleased that I've come across the network marketing model as a way of leveraging my time.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to understand we're very fortunate we have got that opportunity and we should be proud of that. And we shouldn't kind of be fearful of what other people think because the opinions of other people really are none of our business. It's part of life. It's part of and I struggle with that sometimes because the closest people to you are the ones that why are you doing that? In my case, why are you doing that? You're a financial advisor, and we'll all have that. And I think we should be proud of what we've got. And it may be just the health element, and that health element you want to then talk about. But the business opportunity and network marketing will allow you to build real financial security. Otherwise, you just got to just continue to sell products, and
Yeah.
ultimately, that is, like I said, it's like owning a job. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, we've got to be positive and enthusiastic about what we've got our hands on, because that's got to come across. And if it
Yeah.
means you've got to stroke the ego of another financial advisor and say, I was talking to a financial advisor the other day and talking about building assets, and I'd love to get your opinion on what I'm doing. So you're kind of, it's rejection proof. It's not like
Yeah.
no. And I'm obviously not, I'm talking to everyone, I'm thinking,
Yes.
why would we not show everybody? And
Yeah.
sometimes financial advisors, people in finance can poo-poo this type of model, this type of business. But look,
Yeah.
it's in 140 bloody countries. And most financial advisors and solicitors and accountants and professionals like that, they're doing exactly the same as you're doing in the clinic. They're exchanging their time and their skill for an income. And they're
Yeah.
also not really planning their future. And they're not maybe open-minded as much as someone in this world is, because they can see the benefits from the health point of view. And some people are a little bit, it's above them. Well,
Yeah.
if statistics show 97% of the world's population are working what's called a linear style income. It doesn't matter if they're earning 140,000 a year, they've got to exchange their time and skills for money. So we should be showing everybody what we can do health-wise and leveraging of our time. And it will take up everyone different time. So I'm still learning about Zinzino, the best way to present it. I'm just working very closely with Julia and Ruth. And for full disclosure, I have another network marketing business as well. But I'm kind of, just for me, I came to here from a health point of view. So why would we not show other people? And if they want to jump on as a partner, fantastic. If they don't, fantastic. It's
Yeah.
so you can all have fears, and I think I have a lot of fear. And I'm going to finish with just saying, what is success to you? Because for me, I realized as I've got older, it's not all about money. It's about
Yeah.
health, your happiness, and it sounds a bit woo-woo, but it is important. But money does help you do some of the things, and it can do good things like giving money
Yeah.
to charity. So I think we just have to accept we're really lucky to have access to a system that allows us to break out of what we've taught people to,
Yeah.
and that's work for money. And I'm going to do a little plug. I've got a new podcast called Better Financial Futures, and it's both on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. And I've only recorded one episode, which was released last week, I think it was. Better Financial Futures, and it's all about financial awareness, financial education without financial advice. And really appreciate you giving me feedback from your point of view. And I hope it's helped us just to think about this from a different angle this morning.
Yeah. I love a podcast, so I'll be on that.
Thank you, Claire.
Lovely. Thank you so much, John. And
Thanks, John.
everybody that jumped on. And yeah, it's recorded because I know loads of people couldn't make this but want to listen to it. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, I'm going to stop the recording.